In 1 month alone, this writer was out 5 nights to pick up youngsters. Our work of gathering them up and bringing them in, it was not the physical toil which we were called upon to endure that made the work so arduous, as the mental strain, because of the awful conditions in which most of them were found. People will hesitate to believe it possible for such awful conditions to exist in this civilized America.
Unit 16, 911, hang up on the 1100 block of West Harrison Street.
More than 100 years later, the story is still the same. Hurting children may exist in our very own neighborhoods, yet are living worlds apart because of abuse and neglect.
Hi, it's okay, I'm here to help.
In this void of the most basic of human needs, childhoods are hijacked. Innocence is stolen. Spirits are traumatized. And rescue is the vital first step.
Some accuse us of breaking up families when we take children away, but we do not break up families. We give justice to the weak and the fatherless, maintain the right of the afflicted and the destitute, rescue the weak and the needy.
And in some cases, this rescue is at the parent's request, where good families are overwhelmed by the emotional and behavioral issues that can indeed afflict some children.
I just hate it here! I hate everything!
Here, parents have no control and desperately need outside help. These families need a special kind of rescue. Ultimately, the restoration of a young life, the slow, careful healing of a wounded spirit, and more often than not, a battered body, is where the very real work of Children's Home Society begins.
Kids have an extreme sensitivity to whether somebody is just doing something or whether there is a basic care. And when that clicks with a kid, when they can really trust and believe, you know, this person cares, they're going to take care of me, I can really trust them. And that takes time. When they can feel that way, then the relationship component begins to take place.
Even in the late 1800s, William Sherrard crusaded then, like Children's Home does today, to always care for children, with the hope that they will return to a strengthened family or become part of a new loving family.
There's a girl named Mary, and she came to us when she was 9 years old. Her life prior to coming to be with us was pretty chaotic and scary. At some age before 9 years old, she had been sexually abused repeatedly by her biological father, and Mary had to report that abuse herself. Her father was sentenced to prison, and she was being physically abused by her mother. And as a result, she was removed from the home and placed in regular foster care.
Real stories like this unfold through an extensive forensic interview and medical exam. To minimize the child's stress and trauma, unnecessary repetition is avoided while collecting important legal evidence. Though difficult, this is the first step towards healing at Children's Home.
During Mary's time here with us, she came with the issues that she came from foster care with. So hoarding food, lying, stealing, defiant, aggressive, and controlling behavior were really things that were causing her trouble. The plan for Mary when she first came was to work and do family therapy with her mother. And at the beginning, the mother was regularly here attending family therapy, doing weekly visits with Mary, and things were going pretty well. Mary's mother ended up getting herself in some trouble, and the Department of Social Services decided that mom would not be a good place for Mary to return to. So that became another issue for Mary to work on. One of the really neat things for Mary was times when she just got to be a kid with the other kids, being excited about opening her own Christmas presents, getting to play toys and look after the littler ones here. And those were things that she really, really enjoyed.
In our home-like setting, the traditions of childhood are rekindled or perhaps discovered for the first time. Snacks and 3 meals a day are part of daily life, and evenings wind down with stories, prayers, and hugs. For many kids like Mary, residential care is not only the best solution, but the only solution when parental rights have been terminated. While in residence, children receive ongoing individual and group therapy while living their daily lives in the gentle embrace of loving staff and campus educators.
Children's Home offered a lot of guidance and structure that I didn't get when I was little. They instilled in me that I could do anything, that I didn't have to be like my biological mother. Didn't have to live that lifestyle.
Breaking the cycle of abuse is only possible when children get the help and therapy they so critically need. Children's Home Society exists to offer shelter, refuge, treatment, care, and ultimately, hope. For children who cannot return to their birth family, Children's Home provides training, licensing, and support for foster care families ready to take on the loving challenge of caring for boys and girls who have completed residential treatment. These foster families also provide the critical transition for children who need an adoptive home.
As Mary's treatment progressed, and she worked through some of the grief and loss issues about her mom, she really focused on wanting a family. And Children's Home had a family for her, a therapeutic foster family, and with the right tools, with the right support, did very well. She found some coping mechanisms for herself. She got involved in band and began playing the clarinet. One of the reasons why I remember Mary's story so well is because the family was back here visiting, and Mary asked if she could play her clarinet for the rest of the school. And so we had kind of an impromptu little performance, and Mary played her clarinet for all of the kids. And I took her aside afterwards and said, you know, how did you get involved with this? And she said, well, I just thought I would try it, but then I really liked it a lot. And now when I get angry or upset or worried about something, I go upstairs and I play my clarinet. That was just a great lesson for me about how we could be doing some more things for a kid here with a music program or an art program, giving them another chance to learn how to get those feelings out, how to express themselves.
In everything that Children's Home Society has to offer, from residential treatment, special education services, emergency shelters, foster and adoption services, the mission continues more than 100 years later. But the need to help even more children remains.
We know that what we get from the state and the federal government, as generous as they are, it's really only enough to provide a subsistence level of care for the children that we serve and for the families that we serve. So what do we need to do to improve on that? Because really our standard is far higher than a subsistence level. We need to provide that essence of home. We need to make sure we provide a good place for children to live and a good place for them to go. The only way to do that is to develop new resources. How do we do it? We build friends.
They are good stewards in every way, in the way that the staff, the administrators, all the teachers and the therapists work. They're all just diligent in what they do and how they do it. It's a great place to invest.
Our work is well called a twofold blessing. In fact, it might be said to be a fourfold, as it blesses the child, the home to which the child goes, the worker who is privileged to bring them together, and the one who makes the union possible by furnishing the money to do the work.